Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Vampire the Masquerade React. This time we're going to be reacting to Clan Malkavian Vampire the Masquerade lore by Glueboy once again. Surprisingly, Glueboy commented on one of my videos saying that he is alright with me reacting to his video. If he's watching, hey there, thank you for the confirmation, I appreciate it. And yeah, Clan Malkavian, the insane ones, or okay, they are considered insane by everyone outside of them. They aren't insane. They see things differently. But yeah, pretty much one of the main one of the popular clans among the Ventru, the Toreadors, and so on. Even one of the clans that you can play in the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines game. And honestly, I think it's like I'll not recommend playing Malkavian as your first clan in the video game. However, as the second clan, absolutely, they are completely unique in their own way. Even through their interaction, their texts, everything, they're absolutely insane to play about. But I just ranting at this point. Yeah, sit back, relax, and let's see what Glueboy has to say about the clan of the. I was gonna say the seers. Would they be considered seers or something like that? I mean, they are known for using premonition, but yeah, let's see.
Malkavians are an interesting clan to say the least, and easily my favorite. I don't imagine that's a rare opinion when it comes to vampire. Malkavians are a pretty popular bunch.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They have some really interesting lore, fun history both in and outside of game, and fantastic portrayals in the things they appear in. Anything that is like Malkavian adjacent, if you want a great time, go read the Malkavian clan book. It's fantastic and really.
I haven't read it. I have friends who have read the Malkavian, the Malkavian clan book, and pretty much the clan book was written to make it feel like a Malkavian or a group of Malkavians wrote it. Like the text at some point is just written normally, and then it's upside down, and then in the mirror you have to put the book in the mirror, like facing the mirror, in order to be able to read what it's being said. It's absolutely amazing. It's a mind fuck, but it's genius.
Really hard to parse because it's written in character by a Malkavian.
Yes.
Or go play Vampire Bloodlines and play it as a Malkavian for peak roleplay.
Yeah.
And also, I'm saying this as a guy who's currently playing a Malkavian in a vampire game I'm in. My good old vampire Ted, who has very, very specific schizophrenia in that he believes that inanimate objects, if they follow his really weird set of guidelines, are sentient and speak to him. So all of his Malkavian insight comes from objects in his environment speaking to him. I'm basically role-playing Disco Elysium in my tabletop game. But Malkavians have a storied history, like I mentioned. Mainly, I'm going to sit outside of game just for a second in their history, as Malkavians have one of the most altered lore when it comes to vampire. So at first, they really started as more fae in origin, as in they had a lot more elements to like the realm of the changelings and like changeling the dreaming.
Yeah.
And so they had.
I'm still confused. Does anyone know how to play as phase? I feel like in order to be able to know how to roleplay Fae, you need like a few methods and a few faculties, a few university degrees in order to have the slightest idea on how to play Fae, because they're absolutely insane.
Had a lot of that Fae influence, leading to a lot of them being like pranksters. Specifically, a very big thing they like doing is pranking people to try to change their state of mind and their perception of the world. Kind of. Proud son! Alter someone's reality in a little bit. This got altered because turns out having this style of character built what is kind of this weird comic relief in a very depressing horror setting, and having goofy Deadpool or Harley Quinn style.
That's why I keep stopping. That's why I like Vampire the Masquerade. Yes, it is the personal and political horror game, but it also has like comic relief. Usually when you play, or when you tend to play Vampire the Masquerade, you'll have your few absolutely dark, terrifying things, or moral ambiguity that you have to go through and see if you lose your humanity or not. But besides that, you also have a lot of like dumb moments where you can't do nothing else but laugh of how stupid it is, and I think that's like a part of the world itself of the game, and not just talking about Malkavians, about just playing in general. I've had games where we had no Malkavian, and yet we've done so much dumb shit we couldn't do anything but laugh. It depends on who you play with on your coterie.
Character. That it actually leads to a term called fish milk, which I found out about. I think this is really interesting.
It is
Based
new.
on this picture from the Dark Ages sourcebook, which is basically these type of Malkavians would be the lol so random, run in a room, start screaming, slap some.
Damn it. I'm so sorry. I sneezed. Okay. Then 5 seconds before.
Really
Again.
interesting. Based on this picture from the Dark Ages sourcebook, which is basically these type of Malkavians would be the lol so random, run in a room, start screaming, slap someone with a fish, and run away also screaming. Hence the name Fish Mouth.
Okay.
And then if you can't tell in this picture, he's holding a fish.
Yeah, he's holding
and
a
so
fish.
they changed it. And they changed it to something, I guess, a little too far on the other side, as instead, they went really hard into the people with mental illness are all dangerous kind of mentality. This also got changed.
Yeah.
So currently, as Malkavians reside,
Malkavians aren't. They're a hybrid between comic relief and seriousness, pure dark parts of our mental instability. That's why they're also considered to be one of the most difficult clans to play, because very few people know how to properly play a Malkavian. I have no idea how to play one.
in World of
Never played one, but who knows? Maybe one day.
Darkness. I think they're a genuinely good representation of what they're trying to do. I don't think they're very shitty. I think that they've done better than the previous editions have done. I think you could play it very sensible. Of course, your Malkavian, if you actually play one, is going to be determined on your own sensibilities and your own roleplay skills, because it is very easy to roleplay a Malkavian as a gross representation of mental illness, but that's for people who actually do RPG analysis roleplay shit. This is about lore. I'm here to teach you about vampire lore. So, to their actual lore, and it is in character. It's fucking weird. It doesn't make sense, and it's self-contradictory. So I will try to break it down as much as I can without deviating into literally every possible permutation of it. So first, they're antediluvian, a dude known as Malkav. Maybe. It is unknown if this is his real name. Things actually refer to him as different. He has a lot of variations, and other than that, little references that they do not wish to speak his real name. And as well, it wasn't even just like the normal antediluvian style of relationship when it comes to like the clan's creator and all of their childhood. They revered him as some sort of like angel figure, which specifically how they speak about him is as like a deity figure, like an angel come down to save them. It's very interesting. And when it comes to his actual origins, like who was Malkav?
Good question.
Again, self-contradictory. Some said he came from the heavens. Others saying that he's the brother of Saulat, the dude that got killed by the Tremere, like diablerized to ascend them to vampirism. And also Saulat noted cool guy, like actually decent fella. And as well, the brother of Set, as in the follower of Set. Yeah, that guy. And if this is to be believed, and if this is accurate, it means that everything I talked about in the clan ministry video isn't true. So that's fun, you know? Or also, he could be the brother of Arakel, the Toreador antediluvian. We don't know.
The Toreadors will never agree to this idea. They're like, you related to us? Oh, hell no! They'd probably try to get the prince to kill all the Malkavians, to have to blood hunt all the Malkavians in the city.
Or it could be a guy we haven't even seen yet, in the fact that there is a character known as Malachi, who is currently imprisoned in the Shadowlands, as in the afterlife, purgatory. Malachi is probably, maybe, his twin brother. We do know that Malachi exists, because good old Beckett has actually found evidence of his existence, his entombment, and also the fact that a bunch of Malkavians are really, really dedicated to trying to bring Malachi back. Just feverish, talking about it's what Malkav wants. This is a very bad thing, because Malachi, in all accounts, was significantly more unhinged than Malkav ever was. And I feel like that should put some perspective when there's a dude who is considered more crazy than the creator of the Crazy Clan. Probably not a good idea to let him go. And to get even more contradictory and weird, how did the Clan Bane even happen? So the Clan Bane is the fact that every Malkavian has some sort of mental disorder and mental affliction. This can be sourced from many different things. Either you, when in your human life, had some sort of, I guess, predilection towards something, maybe a family history of some sort of disorder. Maybe you even had something in your mortal life, or it comes from the feelings that you were having at the moment of your embrace, which can be, either pretty positive, pretty terrified, depending on the approach. Now, all the Banes for the clans, at least with some exceptions, are sourced from a curse from Cain himself. When Cain discovered that the antediluvians, third generation vampires, killed their sires, the second generation, and Cain's direct child there, he was pretty pissed, so he gave them all curse befitting their existence. This one has many different stories, as it could have been a curse like that, or alternatively, when this was actually happening, he drank a second generation vampire dry, and the absolute potency of the blood broke his mind completely. Just shattered it, which is actually a thing. Drinking higher generational blood than you are is a very dangerous thing. And so much that if you were trying to drink Cain, you would die immediately.
The idea of drinking Cain and drinking higher generation or higher blood potency, there's a mechanic that if you diablerize, if you drain another kindred, you drink their soul, there is going to be a fight between your soul and his soul or their soul. And whoever wins will take control of the body. And that's why it's very dangerous to drink. Yeah, okay. Very dangerous to drink a more powerful kindred than you are, because there's a good chance you'll probably lose control over your own body. Therefore, this is also another mechanic of saying you just lost the game. Congratulations.
With how potent his blood is. Or the fact that Malkav, ever the soothsayer, as his entire existence in vampire society at that point, was being kind of a fortune teller soothsayer type. He would give out his sights of the future, which is a very staple Malkavian job. And to have, they all have this sense of premonitions, which when it comes to their compulsion, which is very rapid fire, hunger-based delusions and premonitions, which may or may not be true.
Premonitions are really cryptic in general, but especially for Malkavians.
Who knows? But Malkav, as a goof, would sometimes tell his brothers and sisters the wrong info and just make shit up.
Of course.
And he is responsible for
because he's a kindred.
Intense political
and they are assholes.
The second city had. The shit that Hakim, as in Clan Banu Hakim, had to deal with when he was imposing law and order, if you remember that video. So as punishment, it is told that Lilith came up to him and whispered a phrase into Malkav's ear. A secret so absolutely ridiculous, it shattered his mind. Though this Bane isn't actually treated as...
What's the secret? This is only a video game. You are not real. The world is not real. If that actually happened, that was canon, I'll not be surprised in the slightest.
The bad thing, it is reported, and everyone reveres it this way in Clan Malkavian, this shattering of his mental state actually made his visions better, and was generally seen as a positive at the time. That is up to you for your current Malkavian if they agree with that sentiment. Alright, so I also got to touch on a pretty important detail for Malkav, his final death. And also kind of the Malkavian Madness Network. So Malkav, long ass time ago, he died. And maybe, either he died or he's currently in torpor somewhere in Jerusalem. I think I prefer the first version, to be honest. But Malkav, when he died, spilling all of his blood, all of his children came up and just started gorging themselves on the fallen blood, not with just the specification to drink him for the power, but to shelter him from the sunlight. And if some people are to be believed, it worked, because now the fact that this blood sheltered for a very specific reason was taken in, now this thing known as the Malkavian Madness Network kind of started, which is a psychic link between everybody of the Malkavian bloodline, so they can psychically be in contact with each other. This isn't like a cell phone. You can't like call up your buddy the next city over. This is used for mainly if you're strong enough, you can channel a large enough burst to call a bunch of Malkavians, either in your general city, or if you're really strong, all over the world. Or it can kind of be used as a warning, as I will hopefully make a video on it later when it comes to some funnier lower clans and bloodlines and all that. But there is actually an entity that lives in the Madness Network, kind of a Freddy Krueger style.
Okay, I didn't know
that
him.
Will come at you in the network and then come into real life and kill you. And so then everyone on the network hears the horrified screaming of the person being murdered by this entity, and every Malkavian goes into hiding. But Malkavian Madness...
I'm gonna search after this one about this clan and the guy, the fifth generation Malkavian. See? Okay, I'm just gonna stop. Continue.
Network also is another aspect of their premonitions, since a lot of times they can just get the raw mental garbage of other Malkavians, which can be legitimate information on a skill they may or may not know about, or random gibberish from a crazy guy. You get a bit of both. This Madness Network, what actually is it? I personally believe in the theory that the Malkavian Madness Network is Malkav. His brain spread across every vampire of Clan Malkavian.
Indeed.
And there's some evidence for this, mainly in the game Bloodlines. If you watch my Kane video, you'll see this. In Bloodlines, at the end of the game, if you're playing as Malkavian, you talk to Kane. He's the cab driver in the game the whole time. And a main thing, when you're talking to Kane, is the Malkavian business that starts up in this cab is your character starts incoherently screaming in terror, because all the antediluvians are horrified of Kane, since Kane wants to kill all of them. So, yeah, that's like the only real explanation for that. I prefer this. I think it's a really cool version of his death. I think it's a much better and more interesting, I guess, event when it comes to Malkav.
This thing about Malkavian in the game, at the end of the game, I didn't know that. But now, okay, probably I knew, but I forgot because I didn't know enough about the Malkavians. But now that I know, oh my god, that makes so much more sense. This is wow. The fact that they added this into the into a game like 10 years old, no, 20 years old or more, it's absolutely insane. The level of detail is beyond even what I knew. Wow. Okay, I have to play it again. Maybe I'll make it a series. We'll see.
Keep him interesting, keep him unique, because that's the Clan Malkavian way. That, it also builds a really interesting mentality when it comes to Sabbat. The Sabbat Malkavians, since they'd want Kane to wake up, they didn't really want these antediluvians to be powerful enough. Their method of dealing with this and waging war against the Camarilla is by making as many Malkavians as they can willy-nilly, because they believe the more Malkavians that exist, the more that Malkav's mind has to be spread to the point where eventually it will be useless, and he's basically inert. Which I think is a very cool concept. That is a dope method of warfare.
That's smart.
And also your powers when it comes to Malkavians, where you'll have your obvious 3 disciplines that you'll have access to. In Vampire 5, you have Auspex, which is vampiric perception, sight, seeing the unseen and the things that are hidden. You also have Obfuscate, which is vampiric stealth, be it pure invisibility and like shadows, or hiding your own intentions and your identity. And
that's also okay. I'll just say that's also fortitude. Fortitude has some skills for hiding your identity, your things, your thoughts. You're gonna be even more difficult to be manipulated. But yeah, let's continue.
Dominate, which is mentally controlling somebody, forcing them to do certain things and controlling their mind. In older editions, they had a unique discipline instead of dominate.
Dementation.
They had dementation.
Yeah.
Which is the ability to
Make people
channel their
insane.
madness into other people.
Yes.
Either by forcing premonitions and insight in a person, or just making them snap, making them go insane. This is a power that is quite terrifying to every other vampire in the Camarilla. And dementation has actually come both in and out of the lore, as in vampires have worked to get rid of the discipline, be it outside influences or Malkavians themselves in an event known as the Great Prank, whereas their funny little prank, they did some weird blood magic and got rid of dementation. But currently, dementation's kind of back in the fact that it is now an amalgam power.
Yeah.
And I have issues with how V5 does discipline.
Not as awesome, but yeah, it's
and then it
better
just
than
comes
nothing.
down to, what do Malkavians do in normal society? Like, what's their role in vampire? Now, this is a difficult question due to the unpredictable and pretty weird nature of Malkavians. And the main deal is they are a Camarilla allied faction. In fact, they were one of the main founding factions when it comes to the Camarilla. Though, they don't really rise to like major prominence in the hierarchy. Mainly, like, there's very few as
Well, to be honest, like the Venture and the Toreador will let them to get more power into the Camarilla, seeing them as cookie,
like
they're not allowed
a
it.
couple exceptions to this rule. Not really been any Malkavian princes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really hard for a prince. Either you have a Malkavian who has zero wish or care for political gain, just does his own thing, and also the other version where it's like a Tom Bombadil-esque deal, where a guy rises up to power and then forgets and doesn't care, just goes skipping off into the woods somewhere. Like, your prince can just wander off, and that's not a good thing. However, instead, they kind of take on the role of a pretty powerful primogen in the Camarilla court, mainly being large advisors and soothsayers to princes, which these princes do value the Malkavians a lot, sometimes even using them as like bragging rights, and like, check out my dope-ass Malkavian. I can understand his prophecies a little better than yours. And yeah, it kind of just delves down to what sort of Malkavian do you want to play?
Mm-hmm.
What, I guess, mental disorder do you want to role play out in game? Hopefully with care and tact. Or at least, what kind of vibe do you want? There's a lot of methods you can take a Malkavian.
If I'd play Malkavian, I'd probably just play them as comic relief, and that's it. That's the thing. It's, as I said, it's very difficult to play Malkavian right. That's why I probably just go with the funny guy route. Because also, in Vampire Society and the Camarilla in general, Malkavians may be looked down to some degree, but still, the rest of the society, of the kindred, they're like, you know what, they might have their quirks, but they're still okay. They're still fine. That's why when you're a Malkavian, you tend to have more leeway on your action, because everybody knows or thinks you are insane. You're gonna do something dumb at some point. It's inevitable. Let's just make sure you don't fuck it up so badly we have to kill you. That's why you're gonna have more leeway as a Malkavian than any other clan. And let's not talk about the Ventrus. You're gonna have no leeway as a Ventru. You make a mistake, you've done fucked up, you can't get ready for punishment.
Playing a Malkavian who's pretty openly embracing his, I guess, foresight abilities and his madness, in the fact that he just completely believes his delusions, like 100%, and acts like they're completely normal, which is very fun for the party. Or you can be a Malkavian who is very self-aware, since all this is very reported on and detailed in like actual game lore of VTM. Yeah. They know all of this. They can gain this information about their disciplines and the madness and how all that works. So you could be a Malkavian running away from this. Do you shun the visions, or do you embrace them? Do you wish to cure yourself of the madness, or are you just kind of dealing with the lot you've been given? Or are you going full hog and spreading it with dementation as much as you can? It's up to you, however your Malkavian suits society in the game you're in, and hopefully not in a way that breaches the Masquerade. But yeah, that's going to wrap this up. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff, join membership, and see ya.
Okay, and yes, I haven't started with this screen before because I thought it just made no sense. I'd better just start with the video itself. So yeah, this has been the Malkavian clan lore by Glueboy. I had no idea about the serial killer in the Madness Network. This is absolutely new and absolutely insane. The fact that there is a fifth generation Malkavian who started his own clan, who they're basically serial killers, broadcasting to all Malkavians their killings, their torturing, and so on. That's no wonder these guys keep acting the way they act, because this is their blood. They are insane in general. But if you also put that into consideration, yeah, makes more sense. Yeah. Still not sure how to play a Malkavian. I to some degree, I would not recommend playing a Malkavian first clan, but at some point, the only way you're gonna know how to play them is by playing in the first place. You're not gonna play properly. You're gonna make mistakes. You're probably gonna go to some places you never thought you're gonna go and probably regret it. But only by playing, you'll become better. But yeah, I think this was the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all next time.